Hello and welcome to the Stars, Goddesses and What's for Tea podcast. My name is Samantha Selby and I am known as the astrological energy healer and channel for star goddess activations. I help the plate juggling women, the ones who really make the world go round, to lead a more spiritually aligned life, to recognise themselves as the goddesses that they truly are. I will be bringing the sometimes complicated concepts of astrology and energy healing down to earth and making them relevant to you and your life. If you haven't already, click on the link in the show notes to download my simple 2-step energy cleansing and alignment ritual so you can have your best day every day. Using the power of the planets, astrology and energy healing, you can take the inside track in your life and follow your soul pathway to the next level of soul ascension alongside human level health, wealth and happiness. So let's dive into all of this juiciness in today's episode. So welcome everybody to the next episode of the Stars, Goddesses and What's for Tea podcast. And I am delighted to have a guest with me today. This lady I have known for, I think it's coming up for about 3 years, probably something like that. She is an inspiration. I love her dearly. She started off as a client and now I would consider her as a friend. Allow me to introduce you to Jane Forkings Russell. She is the owner and creator of Sorrel and Sage Woodland Wisdom. Now, Jane she's, as I said, an inspiration, and she's so passionate about what she does in her business. She creates experiences for individuals, corporate clients and charities in her Woodland Wellness Centre. And I have been there and it is truly magical. Jane firmly believes that our emotional and physical health can be bolstered by spending time in nature, particularly woodland. And she's created a magical environment using all that the woodland and the hedgerow has to offer. And she holds space for guests to come and be at one with their surroundings, to learn and to grow, so that they ignite a spark of curiosity that would lead to a wonderful journey exploring nature's amazing capacity to support and heal us. She is passionate about looking outside the conventional box and how the natural world can support physical, mental and spiritual health and well-being. Jane is committed to starting a self-care revolution and she is doing this in such an incredible way. So Jane, how did Sorrel and Sage come about? How did it come into existence? What prompted you to start your business?
Well, Sam, firstly, thank you for that amazing welcome and introduction. It's my absolute pleasure to be here with you today and to tell you all about Sorrel and Sage. So, Sorrel and Sage started just at the beginning of the pandemic through a series of events that happened to me in my life. So, the first was the visceral heartbreak from a situation that I was involved in. The letting go of a business that I'd nurtured for quite a number of years, but I knew it had no future. And then the wonderful meeting and starting to work with an age-old friend. Our children grew up together in school, who also shares the same ethos as me. She grew up being nurtured by her wonderful mum, as I did with my dad, basically in nature, and using nature to bolster our health and also our mental health, just being out in that environment. So the culmination of these three things started to form the pieces that would knit together in a jigsaw that is Sorrel and Sage. And we met during the pandemic outside in the woodland with our own little therapy, took the planning stage then forward into launching Sorrel and Sage after everything had opened up again and we were allowed to go out back into the world. And it's been just such a joyous journey of discovery for all of us.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know, having watched you evolve this business, what an enormous pleasure it's brought you personally to do this. But also, I'm curious about if there were any obstacles that you overcome in bringing Sorrel and Sage to the world, practical and on a more energetic level. Not just in the in the creation of the business, but also launching Sorrel and Sage. What stood in your way initially when you were setting up the business?
Well, initially there was the logistics of not being able to go out, meet, develop, etc., etc. So we did get around that a little bit with being outdoors, because we had to actually build our centre. So our centre is built purely with what the Woodland has to offer. It's all resource that we have foraged. We're a little bit like the Wombles of Wimbledon. Whatever we can use, we will use. And we've created shelters and four centres within the Woodland. So that was, logistically, that had its challenges, but we overcame them, and it's beautiful. There was another big challenge with me personally. One was the healing of the hurt that I'd just been consumed by almost. That journey led me to you. So it started with my retreat up to the Woodland. It was the only place I could find any solace. And I then discovered EAM, and through that wonderful modality discovered you, because I was looking at something that wasn't just, I didn't know much about energy work, it wasn't just energy work. I've always been a believer in the moon. It's always been a big thing in my life, which is how I found you. And that started me on a pathway to healing myself, but also addressing the other obstacle that I had, which was basically me going out and being seen for who I was, what my values were and what I believed in. And that was something that I had to really dig deep to understand why I had that reluctance to take this out when I didn't have the reluctance to take my previous businesses out. But I didn't have my heart on my sleeve there. I wasn't bearing my soul, which I am in this business. So I had a bit to overcome.
And you've done that incredibly. It's, as I said at the beginning, you really are an inspiration. And what I love about Sorrel and Sage and what you've done, it started off as your own healing space. You felt healed by the Woodland. By, as you said, it was the only place you could retreat to. And now you offer that same space holding, that same kind of energy for other people to retreat to give them what you received. Having been there and been in that most incredible space, you do feel so held. It's like going into the womb of the earth. It really is the most magical place. And having seen what you've built in the space, the bothy. I know that you do have photographs of parts of the Woodland on your website, and we'll share the link to the website in the show notes and later on in the show. But it amazes me what you've created, as you say, from recycling everything that's there. It's truly an environmentally friendly space. It's amazing. So, what would you say when you Sorrel and Sage is as you've described, a very natural space, and you shared that that we met through your connection with the moon, and me running moon circles, and my work with the moon. So how does Sorrel and Sage work with the seasons and the astrological calendar? How do you bring that into what you offer in the Woodland?
So at Sorrel and Sage, our wellness days are based around the foraging calendar. So it's seasonal, as you know, everybody notices the hedgerows. So the first glimpse that spring is coming is the green buds on the hawthorn. Then you get the blackthorn blossom, which, you know, when it's really, when you get a lot of blackthorn and you get the blossom, you can think it's another snowstorm coming along. So we base our workshops on the foraging season. Two of my favourites are the elderflower in June, which is similar to the blackthorn blossom, but you know, just such the elder tree is such just an amazing resource for us. So we use the elderflower, and then in September we use the elderberry, which takes us to our winter tonics and through the tonics. And we follow various plants throughout that season. And then with that, we combine some of the older wisdoms, some pagan wisdoms and their seasons, and then we follow the astrological calendar, so the solstices, etc., etc. And we combine all this with our knowledge, some folklore, a little bit of witchery in there as well, very much along the lines of just celebrating nature. So we follow the tree calendar. We look at all the goddess energy, particularly Lilith is one of my favourite goddesses. We look at spirit animals. I'm so lucky to have a pair of buzzards that live in our woodland, and my spirit animal's buzzard. My spirit tree is the oak tree, which, you know, is that just that supportive energy, guiding energy as well with the buzzard. So we take all these things into consideration when we're combining our workshops, and we bring elements of all of it into what we offer on the day. There's various elements to the workshops. So we forage, we make balms and salves, syrups, we cook over the campfire, but then we also have part of the day that's just there to relax, feel into your environment, use your senses, and use the energy around you to help bolster where you are in life at that moment in time.
Oh, Jane, it just sounds so delicious. I know. I mean, I used your space. You were an incredible host for my autumn equinox retreat, which was last September. So I know the healing from just being in that space. But when you describe the different workshops that you offer, and as you say, they follow the seasons and the you know, the oak tree and the hawthorn bushes. It just, as you say, it sounds, it's, you know, it's like a second snowstorm. It just is the most. You're describing this most incredible space, and it feels very visceral and just so magical. But I also know that you do a lot of work with mental health as well. So, how do your workshops kind of tie in there, and what work are you exploring in that avenue?
We do. There's two prongs to our mental health work. We work with corporate clients, and that can be to the agenda of a CEO who wants to look at their team and how it's functioning, etc. But a lot of the time, it's the mental health at work, which is really important. You know, there's numerous studies out there about mental health at work and trying to resolve issues of sickness and absence from work, etc., and long-term and short-term sickness. So we offer an alternative. There's a lot of providers for spa days and go-karting and a meal out, etc. We offer an alternative to that. And within that alternative, we're offering people the tools to take away, to use in their own environments. You know, you can take a lot of what we have into the countryside around them to use. So it's not just a couple of hour hit. You know, it can have longevity. We've done some amazing work with a local mental health charity, with guests and their support workers, which have been suffering from a spectrum of um, conditions, anxiety, depression, some withdrawal issues, particularly over the pandemic, isolation issues. And it's the work that we've done, the effect that it's had on this small group of reoccurring people has just been incredible. Seeing a young man of 18 arriving at our site for the first of 4 sessions, eye contact, shrouded in a black hood, no communication skills, completely isolated within the group, no teamwork, etc., etc. To week 4, sat next to me, showing me a video on his phone about what he'd done the evening before, participating in the cooking, would never eat our food or anything the first day, bring his own lunch, to having a hot dog over the fire with me. Just that inner confidence, that willingness to try something different. Some of our participants have had poor physical health as well as mental health, and the Woodlands encourage them to just push their bodies that little tiny bit more, and they've just been amazed at what they can accomplish while doing a task, and that feeling of just accomplishment and accreditation that actually they've really contributed to something. It just literally blew our mind. So it was a pilot project that we started, and we've carried on working with that particular charity, and we will carry on building into our business model the opportunity for charities to work with us at a reduced cost or a free resource for them, because the benefit is just incredible.
Listening to the stories of that young man, as you say, shrouded in a black hoodie, to, sitting, having a conversation with you, sharing his life with you on his phone, because that's where they live a lot of their time, but even eating with you when, just 4 short weeks beforehand, he wasn't able to do that. You know, in your creation of Sorrel and Sage, what would you say you are most proud of about yourself in creating this most magical space?
I think it's the journey, and being able to confidently hold a space for these people, whether it's people in need from the charity work, or just a group of nurses who have been through this awful time and they just need space to breathe, and to be held and to be safe and to have inspirational conversations and discuss new ideas. It's for me to have the confidence to do that, and I've been able to do that because I've learned so much about myself. So I suppose it's my self-development journey, which I have been on probably since we met, through various aspects, whether it's my personal exploration of me through astrology and who I am through my natal chart, my makeup, through to the group programs that we've run, or you've run, and I've participated in. The first one really just looking at me, but then moving on to relating all that knowledge to my business. That journey has just been huge, and it's helped me bring diversity into what I'm offering, and a tremendous amount of knowledge that I can pass on to help supporting people, but also supporting my business moving forward, and giving me the tools to navigate the energies around what's happening in the heavens into day-to-day life, and giving me a little bit of an edge as to the planning, the strategy, and just the overall willingness to go out there and do this, and believing that I can do it. It's been a huge journey.
Oh, and thank you for sharing, just a small piece of your journey. It's been an, absolute joy to work with you over the last few years. As you said, one to one and inside Soul Spiral, my year long program that follows a whole turn of the zodiac wheel. And as you say, you've been through that program twice, and as the first time round, as you said, it was about you developing yourself personally, and it was a huge journey, huge healing experience that you went through. And then the second time round was much more focused on your business. And what I love, Jane, is how you bring everything that you've learned into your business, and almost kind of, it's like a little secret superpower, as you say, to plan and to be able to use not just what you've learned for yourself, but also to share that wisdom with your clients and with your guests. I know you call them your guests. I do love that. And it's been an absolute joy to have you, as part of my world. So what would you say was been the biggest difference that's happened in your life? What's made the biggest difference using astrology and energy healing? What do you think has been the biggest shift and change in your life from using and combining astrology and energy healing?
The biggest change, I think, in my life has been the changes that have been made, and I know I've used this phrase with you before, is the changes at a cellular level. Using the natal chart blueprints to see who I was when I was birthed into this experience, and all the facets of me that are in there, and how the planets affect those, and guide me. Planets that are ever moving, astrology is ever moving, the moon is ever moving, and how it affects me. But it's that it's just an intimate knowledge of who I am, but also where my skills lie and what tools I have to negotiate. I'm not just going to say the challenges that life offers, the wonderfulness, and how to enhance the wonderfulness that life offers you. Learning about my personal planets, where they are and how they affect me, and how to navigate the days when the personal planets are really aiding me and bolstering me and pushing me through life, and when they can be a little bit pokey and a little bit, you might need to look at this. But it's learning to really just embrace those energies, and that's a big learn. I was very much in my masculine doing energy. I've got to do, and learning to embrace my feminine energy has been a huge learning curve for me. And along with that, learning to just embrace the energies of the days, even. If it's a day when I'm reflectively daydreaming on a sofa about some magnificent project, that's fine too, as well as going out and creating something where I'm, bashing and thrashing in the woods. It's all okay. And that unique insight has created, as I say, cellular level changes in me, and my understanding of how I work, but also how the people around me work and how they interact with me, and how we work really well together, or possibly give ourselves a little sidestep every now and again. The journey's just been so revolutionary for me. I'm at a certain stage in my life where you could say you're a product of everything that's come before, and now I know I am the product of what I want it to be, not what it has been. And I could design what I want it to be with all these wonderful tools, that has astrology and energy work at its core, at its concept. That's a huge journey, and huge. I'm learning every day something new, and that's the beauty about it.
Oh, I literally have goosebumps listening to you describe how you've changed, but the power, the feeling of empowerment that you control your reality, you create your world and your existence. And that's just, well, it's just so empowering to witness. It's, yeah, as I said right at the beginning, you know, you started off as a client and now I consider you a friend. And to watch you grow and evolve, and also, you know, to build, to birth, to have the conception, the idea of this business, to build it, to create it, as you say, thrash around in the woods, but then to move through all of the inner stuff that kind of got in the way, to now have this thriving business that is, you know, it's changing lives. It's, you know, it's making a difference. It's creating that ripple effect, and it's just the most joyous joyous experience to watch you, but not, and also to have had the honor to host one of my workshops in your space. So Jane, if people would like to find out more about Sorrel and Sage, about either attending one of your workshops or even having Sorrel and Sage be a host for one of their own workshops, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So the best way, Sam, is to pop along to our website. It's www.sorrelsage.co.uk, and pop us an email. There's lots of lovely stuff to look at on there, past projects and lots of photographs of our workshops, etc., etc. And there's a lovely little YouTube video on there which gives you an overall view of the site, which is quite marvellous. Yeah, drop us an email and we'd love to have a chat.
And I know that you're quite, you know, you love to explore collaborations and kind of partnerships. So is that the kind of thing that you're looking for, to, you know, to work with, to work alongside people as a host?
We love collaborations, and one thing that I do really well about, both in my past experiences in hospitality and here, is creating really amazing experiences and environments for people to bring their own expertise to, whether it's in amongst a workshop that we would carry out, or whether it's a standalone event, and we just need to, you know, do the general gubbins of having a workshop, which is keeping the fire going and keeping you well fed. So we love a good collaboration. There's so much to learn out there, and we're just like sponges. We love to hear. There is an opportunity just for us to standalone, hire the venue. It beats a conference room any day. So yeah, there's infinite options, and that's what we do so well. We bespoke package any event where we work with somebody else. If it's not our own workshop, everything is tailored to your needs and your guests' needs. And as I say, we'd love to talk to people and just get as many people up here to experience this as we can.
Oh, fabulous. That's amazing. I know you are the most incredible host. You know, when you hosted my autumn equinox event, it just was so magical, and all my guests were raving about the space. So, I'm just going to throw you in, throw a little question in here, a little bit off the cuff. So, forgive me for putting you on the spot, but is there a tip or something that you could share with the listeners that they could kind of take away of how that they can bring the natural world into their life? You're a little bit of maybe woodland wisdom that you could pass on today, something that they could do for themselves, and bring a little bit of your magic into their life.
Oh, that's on the spot. my it's a really simple thing. It's just to be present and use your senses. We can all go outside. We can use our senses for the bird song. We can smell the air seasonally. We know what that's all about. But we can, we can go outside and pick a handful of leaves up and smell that. Where does that take you? What woodland walk? What were you doing? What valleys were you walking when you were running through the leaves and you heard them rustling? It's a sensory thing. And I would invite anybody to, if they can get outside their doorstep, they can find inspiration to bring outside in. Use your senses and just be curious, just explore. You don't have to. Being outside in nature is incredible, but you can bring it indoors with various different bits and pieces, and using your senses to do that.
Oh, thank you, Jane. That's really, it does make, just as you say, being outside and being present and just smelling the air. My kids laugh at me because I'm like, I can smell snow. I can smell snow. And it is about just being very present. So I've got one final question for you, and this is bringing it all down to earth. So, my lovely, what's for tea? Well, you can either share what you're having for your tea tonight or a favourite tea of your childhood that brings up some kind of, a real lovely emotional kind of feel.
Well, I'm going to do something a bit different, I'm afraid.
Okay.
I'm
Of
going to
course you
share
can.
a favourite tea that we cook now that we developed when we were running a hospitality business. So it's based on everything Welsh. We're Welsh. So it's a dish called Welsh chicken. So it's a plump organic chicken breasts, stuffed with pearl wen cheese, wrapped in Trealy smoked cured bacon, and it's covered lovingly with some leek sauce, and it's just delicious. And the reason this dish is so special for me, it was instrumental in catapulting my bar and restaurant business to great heights where I really felt like I had success. And that's a really good memory for me. But that success was based on me not really being seen. I was an actor playing a part. I was a host, a very good host, and I created a wonderful space. But what that reminds me of is the success I had there without being seen. And it prompts me to be curious about the success that I can have now, with actually being seen. And I'm not going to say wearing my heart on my sleeve, but being open to being vulnerable and being seen and sharing my knowledge and what I know. So it's a little bit of it's a bit of a twist, but it is also one of our favourite teas. But it has some really great memories, and it takes me forward into thinking, okay, what does success look like for me, and how is that going to manifest itself in this business? And it gives me confidence as well as
Oh,
a great taste, full tummy.
I love that. I am definitely going to cook that. I'm going to let you know when I've cooked it. I'll be messaging you afterwards for the recipe. Thank you so much, Jane, for being the most incredible guest on our podcast. It's been an absolute joy to chat with you. I could chat with you all day. It just yeah, as I've said, from a very a treasured client to a treasured friend. So thank you so much for sharing about Sorrel and Sage, Woodland Wisdom. And I urge all of you to,
Yeah.
listening, to go and check out Jane's website and, and have a look at the video and all that she offers, her workshops and her as a host. Jane as a host is just the most incredible space holder and facilitator. So thank you once again, Jane, for being a guest here on the Stars, Goddesses and What's for Tea. And I look forward to sharing another episode with all of you soon. So thank you very much from my heart to all of yours. Love and starlight. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to today's episode. It's always good to hear what you think. So please let me know by leaving a comment. And if you loved what you heard, then it would be amazing if you shared it with your friends. If you would like to explore astrology and energy healing on a deeper level, come and join a community of open-hearted souls inside my Facebook group, Astrological Energy Healing for Life and Business. So until next time, love and starlight. Bye for now.